Hello there, everybody. I'm Mr. GamePie,
And I'm Austin on Sugar.
and this is Let's Play Sonic Riders Part 7. Today we're going to be taking on the Babylon Cup. Last time we talked about the other Sonic Riders games a lot, because I'm not doing those. And today I want to talk about this combination of character and ride that I'm using. So, there's a lot of extreme gear in this game. And, you know, they all have different stats and abilities and stuff.
A lot.
But the heavy bike here has a very, very good ability. You see, it's heavy, and that means that it ignores turbulence. This makes me so happy. You don't even know, Austin.
I noticed when you were playing through that you were saying how you're not a big fan of turbulence in general. And it got me thinking, since like part 1, that the way you've been playing this game is very different than the way I tend to play this game. And I find it really interesting that, you know, for all the rather, whatever the word is for all the rather large complaints that this game gets about how you need to master it in order to be able to be good at it, there's a surprising amount of choice as far as style of play goes. No one is going to have to play the game like everyone else. I have a very different strategy for approaching this game than you do, I've already seen. And I'm sure both of us have a different strategy than Joe Winkerstein, who's currently watching. So I really like that, personally. That means that this game does have quite a bit of, what's even the word for that?
Variety?
Yeah, there's a good amount of variety, and there's a good amount of freedom that comes with this game that I think is really well done and really cool. And I appreciate that in a lot of games, mind you, that can pull that off. But in a game where you can honestly and safely say there's no one right way to play this game, that's a really nice feature to have.
Yes. Now, other things about the heavy bike, in particular with the character that I'm playing as it, with Tails. The thing is that the heavy bike has a lot of speed and a lot of power. But it has very low acceleration and very low handling. But of course we've got Tails here, who is the only character in the game who has a handling boost, and he's a flight character, which means that he has a ton of acceleration. So this means that I basically get a ton of really good stats, while my other stats are more evened out to neutral terms. And I can also still ignore the turbulence that I always hate. So it is an incredible combination, especially for the way that I play the game. So yes, that's Tails Heavy Bike is generally like my preferred combination, personally. Now talking about the stats of the other characters real quick. Basically, I mentioned that Tails is the only character with a handling boost. Other characters like Wave and Rouge, they still have that star, but it goes into power, or off-road, instead of, well, handling. Cream is notable in that she's just a flight character that doesn't have a star. She is 1 star short of all the other flight characters.
Huh. So, she's notable for sucking?
Yeah, basically.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately. Which is really sad because, you know, Cream's a pretty cool character, but no.
And there's no hidden ability that makes up for that at all?
No, not as far as I'm aware.
Wow.
Heavy Bike makes that shortcut even more broken because the thing about that shortcut is that usually flight characters don't have that great of an off-road ability, and that fly thing is in an off-road area. But the Heavy Bike has an incredible off-road ability, so no. Now it's just completely broken.
I love that games like this have very weird definitions of off-road, especially since you're hovering above the ground, but...
Yeah, exactly. Also, the thing is that it's technically not called... All the stats in this game have really weird names, okay? Like, acceleration is called Boost, despite the fact there's already a technique in the game called Boost.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
It has nothing to do with how well your ride boosts.
What are they called?
Speed is called Limit for some reason, which I guess that kind of makes it your speed limit.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense at least.
Off-road is called Power, which really it's not entirely off-road. It also involves vertical inclinations. Like if you're going uphill, you'll go slower, unless you have a really good power. In which case,
power, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And then there's like turning is self-explanatory. I don't remember exactly what they called it, but it's still pretty obvious that it's turning.
Wouldn't have been handle, would it?
No, I think it's like cornering or something.
Gotcha. Oh, that's right. This was during the mid-2000s, and everything had to be extreme, which is why they're called extreme gear. So
yeah.
Okay, that
the
actually
extreme gears.
The secret of the extreme gear.
Yeah.
What's the secret? They're extreme!
But yeah, that was just one thing I wanted to mention because, yeah, stat names, guys, they're really bizarre in this game for no real reason.
I hate it when you need to look up a guide just to understand what something is suggesting. Because I've never... I know you said that you prefer Tails specifically because he's got an extra star in handling, but I never really felt any difference with any of the characters in this game. Maybe I just didn't play the game enough.
I feel minor differences, and that's after playing a lot of it.
Yeah, so to me at least there's a certain amount of, no one's gonna notice this without looking up a guide kind of stuff.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only thing
like
I remember is that the whatever Sonic's second board is definitely makes him go faster than his normal board, but that's about it.
Yeah, the easiest thing to tell that's different is speed. Because it's got a meter right there in the bottom right corner of the screen.
Right.
So if you're going slower than normal, you can tell, oh hey, this ride at this power level only goes up to like 140, which is really lame in comparison to like all the other rides. Oh my god, I am ricocheting off of everything.
Wow. Yeah, again, this is so weird to see somebody playing the game like this because I never play the game like this at all. Just because, again, the whole idea of just having different styles, this is a stage I rely on turbulence to keep me going in a straight line. I don't like Ice Factory at all. It's not exactly one of the better stages for me, but...
Yeah, no, Ice Factory isn't really that great.
Well, that's I guess that's unrelated to style of play, I guess, but more importantly, I just don't like this stage, mostly because I have to rely on turbulence, but for the most part I like turbulence, which is why I've been so surprised to hear you giving it such a hard rap the whole game. Not that you're wrong, mind you. You're absolutely right. It's a bad system, and I'm only slightly happy that they took it out for the next game. But as far as in general,
well, you know, I should play the second game because my least favorite mechanic of this game is gone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I can celebrate the fact that turbulence is no longer existing.
The biggest thing I go back to, as far as Riders goes, besides the mission mode, which you're going to be covering later, is the soundtrack. And as far as I'm concerned, both the mission mode and the soundtrack are better in the second game anyway, so...
Really?
Yeah, oh, the soundtrack in the second game is amazing. It's a really well-developed form of interactive music, where the songs are split into 3 sections that naturally loop, so when you hear it as a song, it sounds like a song. But if you ever use the gravity dive move, it's going to jump up a level. And there's a really, really, really good balance for how that's handled in every stage. So I really respect the sound design of that game. But on top of that, the mission mode is just really fun, because I love the mission mode in this game. I
love it too.
Obviously, I won't be around to talk about exactly why, but I'm sure that you'll go into it and just assume that I am saying the same exact thing, but slightly more hyper.
Probably. I mean, you are also on sugar after all.
And before the sugar crash sets in, I will say I love the mission mode!
Yes.
And in the second game, they took everything that I love about this mission mode and ramped it up even more. So I consider that a major plus.
Very good. Also, I didn't realize that was a path right there until mission mode happened.
Oh yeah, that's actually my favorite thing about mission mode, is you get to see a lot of depth of the stages that you wouldn't have noticed before. Like, I'm pretty sure every type of character is required to play every stage in some shape or form. And I really appreciate that, because that means that you're going to learn all the power shortcuts, you're going to learn all the flight shortcuts, you're going to learn the general grinding techniques that are never actually employed in-game, but I really like them anyway.
Yeah. But, yeah, so that was Ice Factory.
It's over.
Ice Factory.
It's finally over. Now to the two really good stages, like my two favorite stages in the game.
The stage that I mentioned back in story mode was completely broken if you're using a flight character. White Forest.
Oh, right. Or White Cave, I'm sorry. I always get the name mixed up on this. They're not memorable names for the most part. You know, people complain about Desert Ruin and, oh jeez, Tropical Coast, Lava Mountain. Yeah, sure, those are kind of bad, but, I mean, this game had, is there a single really memorable name? I suppose Night Chase is alright.
Yeah, Night Chase.
Night Chase is alright. Oh wow, I'm really racking my brain. Babylon Garden's a cool name.
Yeah, but is that actually the name of one of the stages?
Yeah, Babylon Garden is the name of the final stage in the hero side.
Okay. And then it's called Sky Road in the Sky Road is alright.
Sky Road's a great name. Gosh, I hope they never use that again.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about that.
Wait, where did they use it again?
Lost World.
Oh right, Lost World, Sonic Lost World.
As I recall, that game used, I believe. Oh yeah, no, because this game has Green Forest, which was from SA2.
Yes. And it almost has Red Mountain, except it's Red Canyon.
Yeah. What's the other one called? Splash Canyon, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think that has a equivalent, luckily. I was about to say, isn't that a name in Advance 2? But no, that's Sky Canyon, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of things really are just drawing names out of a hat at this point. It's kind of a shame.
Probably.
Not to go off on too much of a tangent, but the only thing
this is just tangents.
Alright, I really hate Sonic 4 Episode 2's level names. Outside of Sylvania Castle Zone, which is like one of the most clever puns ever, I really can't stand White Park and Oil Desert. Especially when I can sit back and say, Oil Desert? How about Crude Dune or Dust Refinery Zone? No? Oil Desert? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I never played any of the Sonic 4 games. Maybe one day I'll do that.
For what console?
Probably Xbox 360 so that I can actually play both versions.
Oh, right, and then you can also play Episode Metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have fun with that, Thomas. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. I don't know what you're talking. Actually, if you want to drag me in, I'd be totally cool with that.
Oh no, I'm just talking about playing in general, not talking about Let's Plays at all.
Oh. Well, if you want to have company while you're trying to survive that, feel free. I will be totally fine to sit there and say, this game sucks. This game is awful. This game is so bad. Oh, Lost Labyrinth. I love Lost Labyrinth so much. This is such a well-designed... Oh my god, this heavy gear zone. This sucks. And then that'll just be me the whole second game because I really don't like Episode 2.
I don't know, the Sky World has really good music.
Sky Fortress?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Sky Fortress has great music. Act 2 of White Park is great. I love the melody of Oil Desert. And in general, I think, for the most part, the levels have... yeah, especially Episode 2 has some really great songs in general. I actually think Lost Labyrinth really stood out on top of the first game as well. So when people
Lost Labyrinth is definitely one that I was listening to even before the game came out.
So when people complain about like the dying cats and the dying ducks in the second game, I'm not like, I don't disagree with that. I don't think it's really as bad as people often present it to be. Which,
yeah, exactly.
You know, but there are fair complaints about both games, and I would never try to defend them from the bad level design complaints or the fact that they don't feel like Sonic 4 complaints, because those are
they're just not Sonic 4 at all.
Exactly.
It's like, the thing about Sonic 4 that I'll always say is that they changed the things that they should have kept and kept the things that they should have changed.
That's dips for ya, ba-dum-bum.
Like, you know, the graphics, the storyline, the character names, that's all the stuff they should have kept. The physics, notably, that's stuff that they should have kept, but they changed all that. And then the specific level thematics, the enemies that are present in the game, those are the things that they should have changed, but those are the things that they kept. So,
unfortunately, Sonic 4 generally suffers from Dimp's design, where there's going to be a homing attack chain of bubbles, which doesn't feel like something that Eggman would do. How do I stop my arch nemesis? I know! Along the high path that Sonic normally can't reach, I'll leave conveniently placed enemies so that he can reach that path. I'm so evil. That's just
exactly.
stupid. But, you know, back in the old days, Bubbles was there to get in the way and was a really ingenious enemy. So that kind of stuff. Obviously, I'm not saying that the older games were perfect, because they weren't.
No, not quite.
I
mean, Sonic 3 and
like
Knuckles is pretty close.
It's pretty close, especially if you're playing the Sonic 3 complete pack of the game. It's pretty about as close to perfect as an official Sonic game can get. But there's still, every once in a while in Sandopolis, there's a weirdly placed enemy or trap or something that I'm not that big a fan of. But
yeah,
still, the point being that Sonic, you know, at least back in the day, classic Sonic had a very sort of, this isn't a level, this is a world you're exploring that just so happens to be a level. Whereas it very clearly feels like they set up levels for you, and that isn't helped by the fact that all the graphics in Sonic 4 look like all the hills are made out of plastic.
Yeah. Also, we're done now.
Telvis, I feel like I just got here.
I mean, you probably did.
Actually, that's a good point, I probably did.
But yeah, now there's new wave missions. Sega Illusion is unlocked, which is basically just a counterpart to Sega Carnival. We got another 500 rings, and that's beautiful. So anyway, guys, I've been Mr. Game Pie.
And I've been Austin on Sugar.
And it's been nice to have you here, Austin. Very good.
Nice tangenting with you.
Yes. And next time, I'm moving on to mission mode, and Austin is, I don't know, you'll probably be in Elbits or something.
I'm moving on. Never again will I touch Sonic.
Yep.
Not like
Goodbye,
that.
everybody.
Bye.